Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. The Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio. Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 137, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I am here with my best pal, Brian Hall.
Hey, what's going on? This is a big episode.
Yeah, it's exciting. In theaters currently is the animated film Ferdinand.
Yes, and it's been it's an older story, and this is a newish adaptation, and we're really eager to talk about how we feel about that.
So 90 minutes of Ferdinand coming up. I'm just kidding. That's a lot of bullshit.
Oh, this is where we need that morning radio, like noises and stuff.
Because it's a movie about a bull, and I'm just shitting with you. It's funny. Anyway,
welcome to the program, everybody.
There is another movie in theaters right now, and it is breaking all kinds of records. It is the second biggest opening weekend of all time. I'm talking about Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Wow, second of all time? I didn't know that.
Yeah, after The Force Awakens.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're looking at $220 million opening weekend. Wow. So the Force is still in force.
Yeah.
So these two opening weekends tell you why Disney forked over $4 billion for Lucasfilm back in 2012, because it is a license to print money.
Oh, easiest $4 billion they've ever spent.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're spending plenty more, because what is the final tally for the 20th Century Fox acquisition?
Oh, like around 60, I think 60 billion.
Okay. You know, that's couch money is what Disney calls that, right?
Yeah, couch money.
So it's funny because the Last Jedi has been in theaters now really for like 3 days, 2.5 days. Mm-hmm. But I don't know about you, but it feels like it's been out forever.
Yes.
Based on the conversations people have been having. This is something. Now, I saw the press screening, the Monday before the movie opened, and the movie ended. And my first thought was, this is going to be a very polarizing movie.
Yeah.
And that's been borne out.
Yeah. And it's funny when you say that window. It is kind of funny because, a movie comes out like, oh, I got to wait a week. You're like, okay. But with this one, you're like, no, go now. I need to talk to you.
Right.
And I've felt that extended feeling for the weekend because my brother hasn't seen it yet.
Oh.
And a bunch of my friends have. And we were all hanging out last night, Saturday night. And it was so weird that there was someone who hadn't seen it yet that we had to sort of dance around.
Sure.
But it's been like a day. Like, it's really not that weird.
I know.
And we're seeing it today, actually. So, I mean, he's seeing it this weekend. But it's funny, yeah, it feels like forever.
Now, I saw it like 4 days before you did. So yeah. I feel like I've had to hold out even longer because really, I've just been waiting to do this show with you.
Oh, man. This has been tough. We haven't said anything to one another.
So as you know, folks, if you listen, our sort of internal unstated, well, it's stated at this point, policy is that if we're going to be talking about it, we don't express our feelings until we're on mic live, so that whatever ensues, you're experiencing it as we're experiencing it. We want it to be real.
Oh, yeah. We don't even text and say, like, give little hints and then write TV.
I know, isn't that funny? We've got that down. We're pretty disciplined about that now.
Yeah.
It's very funny. But I feel very confident in saying, I mean, we've been doing this show for 5 years now. I don't think I have been as, what's the word? Like, just champing at bits to record ever. I mean, ever. We've done, 130 plus shows. Never have I been as excited to talk about a movie with you as The Last Jedi.
Same, man. I told Zach he actually woke up with nerves. Yeah.
This is my personal J.J. Abrams mystery box as I dive into this discussion and I find out, what did Brian think of The Last Jedi? Yeah. So, as is our tradition, whenever a new Star Wars movie comes out, we devote the full episode to that, and we are going to stay true to tradition. Mm-hmm. And so how do we want to do this, Brian? Should we just kind of do our usual non-spoiler take, and then we'll just dive in?
Yeah, I assume, at least on my end, this part's going to be a little brief because you really do need to kind of dive in right away.
You kind of do.
Yeah.
Kind of do.
Yeah. I even feel like with my brother, I haven't even told him if I like it or not. Like, I want him to go in that fresh with it. So I'll give like a little, thing, and you can give your thing, and then we'll just go right into it.
Let's do it.
All right. You want me to begin?
Please do.
Okay. My take on Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. It's complicated. I walked out. So, okay, this is something that people have to understand about me, and I think this is true for a lot of people. But when there's a movie that you are just anticipating like crazy, and there's a new album you're anticipating like crazy, I never know how I feel after the first viewing. So, and that happened with me with The Force Awakens. Everybody walked out and was all excited about it. And they're like, what'd you think, Brian? I'm like, give me a minute. And with this one, I walked out and I had the same sort of feelings where I was thinking about everything, but I have to admit, I had more questions than I would have liked.
Sure.
And it's so complicated. I mean, we'll get all into it, but I enjoyed it. And I thought,
wait, Brian, hold on. By way of context, you've seen it one time.
Yes, this. Okay, so this is
I think that's important.
I was going to state this actually. I watched it and I thought it was a really fun movie, but like I said, I walked out with more questions than I would have liked with it, and more things that I'm not sure I felt great about. And so I actually wanted to say that I can't necessarily go on record yet about my feelings of this movie. It's still churning in my brain. And I thought this would be sort of an interesting episode because this is a person with his initial feelings, trying to suss things out, talking to someone who's seen the movie now 3 times.
Twice, actually.
Oh, twice, I'm sorry. And has like feelings a little more cemented. And then, like I said, I'm going to see it again this afternoon and sort of see if things coalesce a little bit better for me or whatnot. But I'm eager and excited actually to talk about some of the things I'm conflicted about and hear you respond to those same things. But before we get into that, the nitty gritty, I thought what was interesting about it was there was a lot of it that felt like Star Wars. And then there was some of it to me that this felt like the very first time Star Wars was in someone else's hands. Does that make sense?
That's interesting. It totally does, yeah.
And even though, Abrams obviously isn't George Lucas, people, for better or for worse, have said that it felt like he was doing a cover song of the original trilogy, which I do want to get into a little bit further in the details. But this felt like Saved by the Bell, the new class, to me, for the first time. And that doesn't even include the introduction of those new characters in the last film. And so I was in the theater having to decide, am I a fan of Saved by the Bell, the new class?
Wow.
And I actually will say yes, because I do like these characters and I do like this universe. But I did walk away, and this I didn't want to, but I walked away feeling like, how did I feel about that? How did I feel about that? How did I feel about that? So I'm eager to dive into this with you.
So this is interesting because the movie ended, and so I had already purchased tickets to see it the Saturday morning, which is my tradition. I go the Saturday after it opens, and then I was also going Thursday night with Pervez, my co-host for Diffuse Congruence, and also with my brother-in-law. And it was funny because I wasn't planning on going to the Thursday night show, but I ended up going. And I'm glad I did, because the Saturday morning show, I was like, oh, it's 9:30 a.m. And it was actually 8:45 a.m.
Oh, no.
So I show up at 9:30 at the theater, and I'm like, here we go. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oops. So, and of course, it was sold out until Wednesday, basically.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, every worthwhile screening, all the seats were booked. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I was thinking, man, sucks, because I was actually really looking forward to that third viewing, but I'm glad I had that second viewing.
Yeah.
Which I initially was hesitant about going to, but I'm glad I went, Yeah,
well, I'm curious to hear your first impression and then your second impression.
Yeah, so I think this is not a movie that ends and you're like, that was amazing, right away. I really think it almost requires you to kind of sit on it. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to go in either this direction or that direction. But it defies you to have an instant, sort of uproarious reaction. And I think that's something The Force Awakens did. Mm-hmm. And why? Because it really played on our neurons, and it played on our familiarity with this universe and really making it seem as familiar as possible. And just to be clear, that's not a critique of The Force Awakens. That's an acknowledgement of what that movie did, I think, really well. Mm-hmm. Because the purpose of that movie was to touch base and to sort of to refresh the tree of nostalgia, or whatever metaphor we want to use, It was about saying, look, the Star Wars you remember is back, sort of, as opposed to the prequels, right?
Totally.
And it's interesting because the critique of that movie, which I never got 100% behind, is, it's just a rehash of A New Hope. Mm-hmm. Right? They're doing all this again. They're all doing it's the same thing. It's the same. Another Death Star. Right? It became such a joke at this point that it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, right.
Like, another Death Star, and I, even at the time I was like, well, it's remixing the certain elements, but it's a thematic parallel, so I'm fine with it. Let's see where they go next. That's what I said consistently. And then the critique, the sort of pre-release critique of The Last Jedi was, it's just going to be another Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like the reaction has been, why isn't it just like Empire Strikes Back?
Right.
Right? And I think it actually is very much like The Empire Strikes Back, but in emotional terms, in emotional terms as opposed to narrative terms. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
And that's something that definitely I became much more attuned to during my second viewing. And that's really as soon as it ended, I was like, I need to watch that movie again. And to me, I file that in the win column if a movie makes you say that. Mm-hmm. Because there's plenty of movies that you see, you're like, I didn't like it, and I'm fine never watching that again. I didn't have that reaction with The Last Jedi. Number one, because my reaction wasn't that I didn't like it, but I was like, I don't know what I thought. I need to rewatch it.
That ditto.
Yeah.
And we should also say, if it isn't clear enough by now, how important Star Wars is to us.
I think people know, if you're listening to episode 137 of this show, this in many ways, you and I, our friendship is rooted in Star Wars in many respects.
Yeah, and I know this may seem just overly obvious, but why we actually spend the time mulling over these things and being like, you know what, let me take some time to sit on this, instead of being like, yeah, it was okay, and then walking away and getting on with our day. Like Star Wars hit us at a very young age and became woven into our fabric.
It did, and I think that you and I, we respond to the franchise in many of the same ways.
Yes.
And I think that's reflected in obviously the many conversations we've had, both on mic and off, and then through our commentary tracks and whatnot. And I think in that sense, I feel like I know you well enough to know what you would probably respond to in this film and what you wouldn't, and that's why I'm fascinated to have this conversation. So anyway, very long story short, the embargo for the reviews was like the morning after the press screening. So I saw it on the 11th in the afternoon, and the 12th at 9 a.m. was when the embargo was going to drop. So I was like, I'll just write my review Monday night, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so I'm literally like, you know what? I need to sleep on it. I need to sleep. And I woke up at 5 a.m. and I typed my review. Mm-hmm. Because I needed like 6 hours of just letting this movie kick around in my skull. I do like it. I liked it when I wrote my review. Having seen it a second time, I kind of love it.
Okay.
And I love it for all the ways it respects Star Wars canon by breaking the Star Wars mold. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a good place to leave it as we go into spoilers. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, beyond this point, there be spoilers, Brian.
All right.
Spoilers.
So I think the biggest challenge that people are having with this movie is the Star Wars sequel they have written in their mind. You know, for 30 plus years. You know, I mean, it kind of. We're seeing Luke Skywalker in action for the first time, and we all have that scripted in our head of what that's supposed to look like. And I think Rian Johnson, in writing and directing this movie, entered with that understanding that there's no way to measure up to those expectations, so he wasn't even going to try.
Right, sure.
You know, and that's a challenge. You know, I mean, I think you alluded to Saved by the Bell. What I said online is watching this movie was a little bit like Girl Meets World.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Maybe that's even where I thought of that. Yeah,
you know, and
I thought that was very good. Yeah,
yeah, and you know, by way of context, you know, Girl Meets World is a show that they announced a few years ago, and it's, oh my gosh, it's going to be the sequel to Boy Meets World. We get to see Corey and Topanga and Eric, and remember that time when Eric did that thing, and remember all those great things Mr. Feeney said? Oh man, I can't wait to see all that again, right? Mm-hmm. And then you watch the show, and you're like, hey, look, it's Corey and Topanga. And oh, look, they have a daughter. And and the daughter has some friends. And okay, I guess we're following the daughter and her. Oh, and the friend is doing that thing. Oh, and they're in school now. And yeah, they're having those adventures there. And hey, it's Corey and Topanga. And oh, no, we're back to the daughter. Okay, that's cool. You know?
Right.
And so what I realized watching Girl Meets World was, you know what, this show isn't aimed at me.
Yeah.
My show is back there in the 90s. And if I want to watch Girl Meets World, I can, but I should know going in that it's about these new characters, and you'll occasionally see these other ones. And so that was me with, and ultimately I did not watch Girl Meets World because of that. That's not the same situation with Star Wars in the same way, but it is in the same way that you have to realize that. Mm-hmm. You need to be okay with that, with saying, you know what? The star of the previous movies is the guest star in these movies.
Yeah,
and you got to be okay with it. And so, that was something that I had an inkling of last time, but the movie itself was so wedded to the sort of the general tonal template of Star Wars that it didn't hit me as hard as it did this one. Mm-hmm. Where I had that very stark realization of like, Star Wars is now different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's different. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just different than what I was expecting. And so I need to put those expectations in a drawer and just let this thing happen.
Yeah. And I want to say I had that very thought actually during the movie.
Yeah.
Where I had, this sounds like despair, but I was thinking, you know what? My original trilogy will always be there. I actually had that thought during the middle of the movie. Yeah. And so I had to sort of recalibrate and be like, this is a different thing. And now I just have to decide if I like this different thing. Like, it doesn't move or add or take away to what I love.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
That's really it. I mean it's one of those things where, you know, this is something we talked about back when the purchase first happened, which is by virtue of the series continuing, it makes the Star Wars series, it takes it from being The Godfather, where it has a beginning, middle, and end, mm-hmm. and it turns it into something open-ended. And if it's going to be something open-ended, it's going to eventually not be the thing that we knew.
Yes. And that's good.
Yes.
I think, and still speaking, I guess, in broad strokes, it's not that I don't even dislike the characters. I actually really like these characters. And I didn't even mind some of the stuff that happened in the movie. I think I just had several things that happened in the film, I questioned it as they were happening. Okay. And maybe it was execution, maybe it was the way it was written, I don't know. I was like, I'm okay with this concept, but I wasn't crazy about the way that it happened. And that's what I look forward to getting into.
Let's get into details. Yeah, so one complaint, and we'll move through the movie somewhat chronologically, I suppose. Yeah. One complaint right off the bat, people find the humor off-putting.
Yes. Sure.
And it's interesting because what I've heard a lot of is, it's Marvel-style humor. It's too much like Guardians of the Galaxy. And I would imagine this is in reference to, like, right off the top. So we have our opening crawl, and again, I will never not be excited by a brand new opening crawl.
Oh, I was just absolutely giddy.
You know?
Yeah.
I had that same feeling with The Force Awakens. I'm like, I've never read this before. Mm-hmm. I will be reading it for a long time. I've never read it before, you know? So we come in on the resistance under attack by the First Order, and then here's Poe Dameron, and he essentially prank calls General Hux.
Right. And a very modern cell phone-ish sort of joke.
Yeah, some might say anachronistic.
Right.
I found it funny, I'll be honest.
I did too, actually. I found it slightly not jarring, but a little bit like I was outside of the joke a little bit, like, oh, this feels modern.
Yes.
Which, you know, but yeah, overall, actually, I thought it was kind of funny. And it sort of mirrored what he did to Kylo Ren at the opening of Force Awakens, where he trolls the bad guy.
So I was actually just thinking exactly that. I was like, it does seem in character because in the beginning of the Force Awakens, do you talk? Do I talk? I don't know. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I can't hear you through the thing. Yeah.
Through the apparatus, right? Yeah. That's funny. You know, I mean, it's I suppose that could be construed as anachronistic as well.
Yeah, I didn't... I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it that moment in The Force Awakens felt like a very Lawrence Kasdan type thing, you know. And I think that's what with both of these films, in terms of the dynamics of character interaction, it feels the most akin to The Empire Strikes Back. Mm-hmm. A lot of banter.
Right,
you know?
Right.
I also think that we got more of a sense of who General Hux is in the first 5 minutes of this movie than in the entirety of the last movie.
That's yeah. I kind of understood him a little bit more. He's this little guy in his big guy suit, trying to pretend like he's the big guy. Yeah, he's
a wannabe. Now something interesting that was pointed out to me online by Philip Barker, who actually listens to the show. When BB-8 is talking to Poe. And Poe says, "Happy beeps, buddy." Happy beeps. It's in response to BB-8 saying, "I have a bad feeling about this."
Yeah, that's pretty clever.
It's funny because the movie ended. I was like, did they not say that?
Yeah,
you know. And somebody was like, "Oh, BB-8 says it." I'm like, yeah, I'm sure BB-8 says it. You know, like, yeah, sure. Like R2 says it. You know what I mean? Like, okay. But then in the context of the film, because Princess Leia is like, "I'm with the droid on this," like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, that's clever. Slow clap. I applaud that. So we set up what I think is terrific. It's almost like they invert the template for these films by having the big space battle right up top. Mm-hmm. And then we never get another big space battle. Oh yeah, you're right. You know, not like this, right? Mm-hmm. And we see these bomber ships, which we've never seen before. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. We blow up the dreadnought. Now, but the interesting thing is that right away we're showing how desperate the situation is for the resistance, and we set up Poe Dameron as like, oh, he's the guy, he disobeys orders and he gets the job done. Mm-hmm. But it ends up, I mean, this movie is really about the comeuppance of Poe Dameron. Mm-hmm. And I almost feel like, you know, the previous movie didn't know what the hell to do with him. Yes. That said, he was a damn good pilot. I don't know if you. Right. I don't know if you're. He was a hell of a pilot.
I don't know that enough people called it out in this one, because I sort of lost track of that thread.
So they actually, I mean, they were like making up for lost time. I felt like I was like, we got a really rich arc with Poe Dameron by the end of it. I already liked him because he's Oscar Isaac and he's likable, but I really liked the journey we went on with the character in this one.
This is going to be a thing I had a little bit of a problem with.
Okay, but we'll talk. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we come back to Och 2.
Wait. Let's go back to... I just want to call out that amazing moment. There's a character we meet later named Rose, and her sister is introduced here at the beginning. And this is the only time we see her, and I don't even remember if we hear her speak.
She does not.
And this entirely moving and memorable moment where she is the last hope to drop all these bombs on one of the the bad guys' ships. And, got her remote stuck up there, on another level of her ship, and she's kicking the ladder as she's dying. Oh, I thought that was really, really good.
And it was staged in a way unlike anything we've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I really was feeling it. I was like, oh, they're going to do this to us. Like, she's not going to get that remote. I actually thought that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Very effective. So right away we're set up. I mean, again, it's a thematic parallel to where the rebellion is at the beginning of The Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
Right. In fact, there's a moment that evokes that to me, where when the dreadnought goes down, we see the resistance fighters cheering on the ship, and it reminded me of in The Empire Strikes Back when the ion cannon fires and you see the rebel. You know,
the first transport is away.
That's right. Yep. You know, you can hear that music like in your head already.
Yeah, I am hearing it right now.
So it evoked that right away. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But from there we go to the planet Achtu. Where right where Rey, where we left Rey standing there with Luke Skywalker. Now, normally people think there's no time jump between movies. Actually, this is 6 months later. They've just been standing there the whole time, trying to find the right thing to say. Now, this is right away. People are upset because she hands Luke the lightsaber, and for 2 years we've been like, "What's he gonna do? What's gonna happen?" And he takes it. He takes his old lightsaber. He doesn't even look at it. He doesn't even look at this and be like, how the hell? My hand was attached to this at one time. And now my hand's not attached.
Right.
Right? He doesn't even look at it. He just tosses it over his shoulder. Now, what did you think of that?
I have to admit, I did picture the writer going...
Okay.
Like, didn't expect that, did you? Like, I hate.
He gives himself a high five.
Thought. What?
He gives himself a high five.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm okay with it. I'll, in the end, especially where we end up going with Luke and learning about him, ultimately I'm okay with it. But that was my gut reaction right away.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
You? I think for me, almost the entire first third of Luke's arc in this was like, all right, let's see where this is going. Let's see where this is going. I think the movie presents us a broken Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
And I think your threshold for liking the movie, I think, relies on how heavily you're able to be okay with that.
And like how interested you are in seeing him milk a creature.
That was weird, right?
I was like, I actually, as that moment was happening, was thinking, how much did they spend on rubber, latex? And
that was an odd thing, and that's something that in the second viewing. So we're talking about. I mean, I'm assuming you've seen the movie if you're listening to us, but yeah, I think what they're trying to show is how completely comfortable he is in this, like, cut off from all civilization, and he's just like drinking random sea lizard milk, and he's fine with it.
Yeah,
straight from the source, which is a little weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
It didn't do anything for me. No, if I'm being honest, but I was like, okay.
It was strange. It was strange. I agree with you.
It was enough to bump me.
Yes, but I almost feel like, I mean, you put that in there for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, but
I don't know what the reason
is.
is.
This is life on this rock for him.
Yes,
and it's kind of gross and kind of weird, but this is what where he chooses to reside. And I mean, because it's very unappealing to Rey.
Yes.
She calls it out later, like, you really want to stay here doing this thing? And
right.
Okay, so what do you think of the maids, by the way, on the island?
Like their presence there?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I mean, it adds this texture of, like, you know, I mean, they're there to... They're the original inhabitants of this island, and they're just sort of taking care of things.
Actually, you know, they bumped me a little bit too.
Okay.
I just thought it was a weird, unnecessary detail that I didn't want to, like, get stuck on, but I did a little bit.
I mean, to me, it's just like texture. It's like, you know, there's...
When you say it, like, now, though, I have to admit, when you said they're the original inhabitants of the island, that makes sense. Like, he just sort of is this visitor on this island. Yeah. Again, this is first viewing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, to me, it's one of those things I like that kind of the original trilogy did a lot of, where it's like just some random background detail, and you're like, okay. And you don't necessarily spend a lot of time thinking about it, but there's probably a whole backstory that they figured out. Like, that was a very Lucas thing to do.
Yeah, I actually did enjoy how Rey kept accidentally
pissing him off.
Yeah, and pissing him off. That was kind of funny.
That was funny, yeah. So right away, this is interesting because Luke's like, leave me alone, and he's like hiding in his room, you know, listening to, you know, death metal.
Yeah. Or Morrissey.
And then Chewie like rips his door open, and what is the first thing Luke says? Where's Han?
Yeah.
And here's why it's interesting. Number one, because now he's going to find out that his friend died, and that's horrible. But how did he not know Han died?
Like, not feel it?
How did he not feel it? And so that's your first clue. He's cut off from the Force. Right?
Interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that was my first sense. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Like, why wouldn't he know? Mm-hmm. Right? And what we'll see later is that it's not like distance is an issue as far as using the Force. In terms of, like galactic distance. You can be like, oh, he was so far away he didn't realize it. You know? Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. And then, Luke's arc of like the push and pull of come back to fight with the Resistance stuff. See, I think this is interesting because Rey is a surrogate for us. Mm-hmm. Rey is like, come on, you grab your lightsaber, let's go kick some Imperial ass.
Yeah.
Right? In other words, she's doing what we're all expecting him to do. Mm-hmm. And what does Luke say? He's like, what do you think I'm going to do? You think I'm going to grab my lightsaber and like face off against the whole First Order? Mm-hmm. Right? And it's that like, it's Luke. This is like the meta aspect of this film. Which is, Luke has to compete with his own legend, both in the Star Wars universe and in our universe.
Yeah.
Right? And we have had, 30 plus years to imagine all of the new adventures Luke Skywalker would have. Mm-hmm. And so this movie is, in many ways, it's a riposte to that because how do you introduce Luke back into the narrative without him becoming the center of gravity?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the point of these new films is, well, it's about moving on. I mean, it's throughout, right? You have to let the past die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, they basically state their mission statement out loud.
Yeah. So it's like, how okay are you going to be with that as a viewer? And that's the question, right?
Yeah.
We're given a Luke we're not conditioned to expect. Mm-hmm. And not just because of, it's been 34 years. When you think about it, it's because, like, if you're a Star Wars fan, you've had 20 plus years of fiction that have presented a very different image of Luke.
Yep. And, to be fair to the people who didn't enjoy this interpretation, neither did Mark Hamill.
Yeah, so Mark
He's been pretty
Hamill,
upfront about that.
He said, I read the script, and the first thing I said to Rian Johnson is I fundamentally disagree with every decision you have Luke make in this movie.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting that he still played him, like, because he would have had the pull. Like, if my point is this, like, he must have come around after having some kind of conversation, because if he was like, I don't want to play this, I can't imagine they would have forced him to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, there's part of me that agrees with that, and there's another part of me that I can picture Kathleen Kennedy being like, "You doing this or not? Because I think you are." Like, almost like, and Mark Hamill like, "Yes, I'm." Like there's a little part of me that can kind of imagine that.
Sure.
I did not have. So a lot of the things that I'm going to bring up throughout this thing are my initial reactions to things, which we've always said, something isn't a problem if you think about it later or if you think about it in the parking lot. Yeah. And some of these things were things I thought of immediately. Luke the Crank, I was like, let's do this. Like, I'm okay. Like, why? It didn't bump me right away.
Sure.
Something later did that we'll get into.
Okay.
But but I completely understand his reservations about it, and I had to wrestle with how I felt about it after the movie, but I thought the movie presented it enough in a convincing way that I was willing to be like, okay, well, why? What's going on?
That's basically me. Like I'm not going to lie. If the movie presented us badass Jedi hero Luke Skywalker just kicking all form of ass, hell yes, I would have been okay with it.
Yeah.
Right? Totally down with it. The question is, are you... By not getting that, are you then immediately not okay with what you get instead?
Right.
And I think that's the sort of the turnkey that has to happen a little bit. Mm-hmm. Right. I think that I don't know. It's tricky. I mean, it's hard to see our heroes vulnerable, and I think when we talk about The Force Awakens, right? Like, we got a Han Solo who was like the Han Solo we remembered.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They didn't break the mold with him.
Right.
And I think that was the whole. That was a part of the reason of not having Han Solo changed much in the interim. Like, oh, like, you know, it's funny because that was the complaint that why is he still a smuggler? Like, why isn't he changing stuff? You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't win.
Yeah.
You know, but that was the part of the construction there was to ease us back into this universe. Look, oh, here's pieces of it that are still what you remember. You know, I think with Luke, they're deliberately trying to say, well, you know, even your great heroes aren't unimpeachable.
Yeah, and I feel like we haven't gotten to it yet, but I mean, he goes through something that I feel like I understand why he feels like he has begun to doubt himself.
Yes.
And to question things. And to the amount of satisfaction for each person they're going to believe that, you know, that's up to you. But like I feel like I get why they are trying to have him come across this way, and I can go with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Luke has his reasons. Do we want to get into that now, or do we want to like keep moving through the story?
Do you have the outline in front of you? Sort of?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you know.
Yeah, we can get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I think the cutting back and forth, I think this is another thing I noticed actually, is that there were a lot less wipes in this movie.
I had read that. I remember leading up to it that this has the least wipes of all the Star Wars films. I think it has 12, whereas the rest of the films have like 30 or something like that.
And it was almost noticeable when it happened.
Yes, I only remember one, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah.
But we've also got obviously the Kylo Ren story, and I think here too, this is interesting that the first thing that happens is first of all we see Supreme Leader Snoke in the flesh. That's new.
Still tall, not as tall as we thought.
Not his not Lincoln Memorial size.
Yeah.
But he calls Kylo Ren in front of him. He's like, "Hey, take off that stupid Darth Vader cosplay that you're wearing."
Do you think that was Rian Johnson speaking through Snoke?
I wonder.
I had a feeling he didn't like The Force Awakens very much.
It does feel in many ways like a riposte to The Force Awakens, and I do find it amusing that J.J. Abrams is now coming in to finish the trilogy.
Yeah.
Because I wonder, like it'll be like J.J. Abrams like, oh yeah, well here's what I think, and he just like undoes. Like first scene of the third one is Kylo Ren puts the mask back on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that I just want to not forget to say this, but there is something, a little bit of concern I have about, with the original trilogy, with the prequels, there was one author.
Yes.
Right? And this trilogy so far has two authors. Like there's no overarching author whose voice has been this through line that is going to be through all three. And they've even said
totally
so
agree.
much that like Rian Johnson was left to his own devices.
Yeah, he said there's no like big outline on a whiteboard,
which sounds sort of exciting in the build up to the movie, but then after having seen the movie, I'm sort of like, I don't know if that was a great idea. And I heard someone say this really well on another podcast where he said, I'm a little concerned that this trilogy, each movie is going to feel like a different season of television by a different showrunner.
That's very funny.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm feeling that a little bit right now, and it seemed like he wanted to quickly undo a lot of things that J.J. Abrams did,
yes,
including like the Knights of Ren, which I don't even think are referenced at all, in this movie, and so there's part of me that can kind of appreciate. Well, I don't know if I'd appreciate it. I'd understand why he might do some of those things if he didn't respond to those things, but at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, I know you don't want to feel this way, but you are sort of serving like a larger thing. Right,
but let's remember that J.J. Abrams is a producer on this, and one assumes that he had some input, even if it was like, reading the script, through the draft process.
Yeah, I don't know. Right. And it's interesting, too. I'm sure he was talking with Colin Trevorrow a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, well, didn't he say that he had put something in here that Trevorrow wanted to pay off later, which is I'm assuming lost to the ages now.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the thing, right? Because we can look at because you're right. Where to some extent you're like, is this like a Whose Line Is It Anyway skit where
yes
you like leave it here and then it's like and then Ryan Stiles jumps in and he does this,
Yeah.
You wonder, but on the other hand, see, I'm looking at it like, well, is there a greater design here, which is about saying, look at The Force Awakens. Look how it's so similar to what you know. This trilogy is going to do that. And then the second one is about saying, hold the phone.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually we're going in all kinds of different directions because the one thing I can say, and I'm sure you agree with this, is this movie ends and you're like, I have no effing clue.
Yes.
What the hell's going to happen in 2 years? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't even know what to look forward to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and part of that is because so much of what happened, this movie does movie 3 stuff.
Yes.
Right? And we'll
very
get there
surprisingly.
too. Very much so, right?
Yeah.
And so I look at that and I'm like, well, geez, you know, because when you think about it, Star Wars is in danger of becoming prisoner of its the homages. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? Oh, you got to have this. You got to make sure you do this. You need to, you know, it's like the James Bond movies before Daniel Craig, right? Every movie, you got to make sure you have like the M scene. You got to have the little banter with Moneypenny. You got to make sure you have the Q Gadget scene. You got, you know, and it took like 4 movies of breaking that to make those things when they came back be meaningful again.
Yeah. I think it concerns me a little bit though. Whereas these are supposed to be chapter 1, 2, and 3 of a 3-chapter story. Yes. Like where we left off. And again, I mean, I'm sure some people would be like, disagree with this. I don't want this to be Empire Strikes Back. I don't think it has to be. Yes. But at the same time, whereas Empire Strikes Back is such a great middle chapter, is that we leave with Han's fate uncertain. And we have a group of people, including like a new member that we didn't know we could trust, who now we kind of do. And they're like, we're going to go get him. And like, well, what's that going to look like? Like, there's a lot of wanting and questioning, and like the story's not done. You got to come back for this. And I was a little surprised how there wasn't any of that at the end of this.
Yes, I mean it. Like if you told me, "Oh, this is the end of the trilogy," I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I guess." You know,
it almost has the perfect shot for the end of this trilogy.
Yeah,
the last shot.
Well, and that's, I mean, that's, if you look at, if there's any ding against The Empire Strikes Back, is that it does not end. Mm-hmm. This movie ends.
Which, I mean, I guess it's sort of a matter of taste or what you want out of it. I guess I assume, and maybe I shouldn't assume this, but I assume if it's like a 3-part story, then I assume that this is the middle.
It is the middle, but I mean in the sense of like, it's like A New Hope, right? A New Hope ends, and if there was never anything after, you'd be like, okay, that's a good ending, right?
Yeah, and it feels like you could do the same with this one, which feels weird to me, but maybe that's okay.
It's weird, but is that bad?
I guess, I don't know. I mean, I guess it sort of depends what you want out of a trilogy.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, that's me having feelings about something I'm familiar with, and this is something doing things differently. So I'm open to that. I'm open to that.
Yeah, so I mean, we're talking about with Kylo Ren, right? He busts up his mask, and he's like, let's launch an attack on the Resistance. And by the way, yeah, we should mention how the Resistance, their new issue here is that the Empire, I keep saying the Empire, the First Order can track them through hyperspace.
Yeah.
So it's very Battlestar Galactica.
Which I've heard. I didn't know that, but yeah.
Yeah, that was like a thing in Battlestar Galactica where the fleet would jump every like 30 minutes, and they had like, X number, like they had like 30 minutes before the bad guys would catch up to them. They had to jump again, and so there was no stability. This is very much borrowing a page from that. Mm-hmm. So Kylo Ren, now maskless Kylo Ren, mm-hmm. For the rest of the movie, he launches an attack on the thing, and we see that he's about to fire on General Organa.
Yes, and
he doesn't. That was interesting.
That was a great moment.
It was terrific, and again, I think I liked Kylo Ren in the last one. I really liked him in this one.
Yeah, I liked him in the last one too, and I know some people had issues with him. I liked him, and in this one, I felt like they did a good job of just continuing him. Yeah,
they added a lot of nuance. I mean, that to me was a moment where I was like, oh, maybe there is good in him, like
yeah. You know, and it was so. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, please continue.
That moment was wonderfully undercut when he doesn't, and then the 2 other TIE fighters just blasted anyway.
Yeah. So now, and she gets blown out into space, and I'm sure everyone in the audience is like, okay, there goes Princess Leia.
Yeah.
We've now said goodbye to her. So the fact that moments later we see her in space. Well, we see her in space, like her corpse, and I'm like, okay, this is excessive.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Right. And then her fingers start to move, and she like wakes up, and she uses the Force to float to the nearest door and the airlock or whatever, and they let her in. Mm-hmm. Some people have an issue with this.
Yeah, some people in my group had an issue with it. I thought it was fine. It didn't bother me.
Yeah, to me this is very simple. Because it's like, oh, why hasn't she used the Force before? And it's like, well, to me this is like a person who's drowning. And desperate, like she's probably Force sensitive. She's not an adept, but if it's a matter between life and death, she finds the reserves within her to do this thing that she's never done before. Mm-hmm. I'm totally fine with it, and I'm especially fine with it knowing that this is our last chance to see her, Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia.
So we get to see her use the Force. At least
we get
once.
Right.
Yeah.
We get that at least before she dies, right? So, I on the one hand, had they killed her off, I would have been okay with it because, well, what do you do? On the other hand, hey, you know what? We got a whole other movie with her in it, so I'm glad that we did get that. Mm-hmm. We got the whole rest of the movie with her in it, I should say. Mm-hmm. But this gets to so now we're introduced to Admiral Holdo, played by Laura Dern, and again, a character some people are expressing issues with.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're one of them.
I don't have a problem with her. It's less her and more this entire plot line here.
Yeah, so this is where things get a little dodgy because it feels a little bit like, okay, now we need to find stuff for the other characters to do.
Yeah.
Right? And so by the way, R.I.P. Admiral Akbar, who was also like just tossed off.
Yeah.
I picture him as he floats into space. It's a trap. As he freezes.
Or I imagine he went, that's a wrap.
Even better. So essentially, this is the thing. So Poe Dameron is like, hey, I'm Poe effing Dameron.
Yeah.
We got to do this. And Admiral Holdo is like, no, this is what we're going to do, right? And I look at this whole thing and I'm like, the entire middle portion is about the hotshot, take no guff, break the rules hero getting handed his ass and failing spectacularly.
Yeah.
So as a narrative idea, I find that great. Like, I think that's terrific.
I agree.
Because the whole thing is like her deal is like we're what she's telling them is, look, we're just going to keep our distance and we're not going to jump again or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, we got to the First Order, and he's like, cocky. He's like Maverick from Top Gun, right? And so the whole thing here is that, and we've like completely skipped over Finn, by the way.
He ties into this eventually.
He does, but I mean, I think that's a failing in the story. Is that
yes.
Finn, unfortunately, does feel like a little bit like okay, what's Finn gonna do?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's find a thing for Finn to do.
Yeah.
But the idea is, okay. So this to me, because I gave the movie a B+, and the reason it's a B+ is this whole middle section here is just kind of excruciating because it doesn't pay off the way it should.
It doesn't pay off the way it should, and the way that when I realized this was going to be the B plot, I was like, oh boy. Like, it just seems like a concept that was stretched within an inch of its life.
Well, doesn't it? It feels like something from a TV episode.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And I think what sort of bothered me about it was, even as you were restating it right here, I'm like, well, I like this. I like the shoot first, ask questions later guy learning his lesson.
Yes.
But I don't know that the execution of this works so much for me, because it basically comes down to her not explaining something to him. And something that I missed that I heard in a podcast somewhere else was they explained something about there are some moles.
Okay.
Somehow I missed that
makes
detail.
Sense.
But
yes.
So it's like that's why they wouldn't tell Poe exactly what they're doing. But he just keeps.
Well, but Brian, beyond even that, what does she owe Poe? Right.
This is true.
She's an admiral. He's the guy who literally the last thing Leia did before getting blown into space was demote him.
Yeah, but it almost feels like that is true. That is true too, and she calls that out. I think She could have also said, there, even in a cocky way to make us like not sure if we like her or not, say, there are things at work above your pay grade that you don't need to know, or something. Like
Yes.
the way I remember it, and this is a first viewing memory, is that she basically just keeps dismissing him and sort of. So then he stages this mutiny.
But here's why I think what the filmmakers were trying to do, because they expect that we are on Poe's side.
Yes.
So
yeah.
they want to frame her the way he's seeing her.
Yes.
Which is, what's her deal? Is she like, we're sort of expecting her to be a traitor,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so they need to play a little close to the vest. And the point is really to make we and he realize, oh, I was wrong.
Right.
Which is why that's why I think we never got that type of dialogue that you're talking about.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was just missing a little crackle or a little. I don't know. I don't know exactly what was missing from it, but my feeling when I recall it right now is that it just felt really stretched out.
Yes.
And
well, but Brian, I'll tell you what makes it stretched out is in the middle of the Poe versus the man, storyline, is this diversion where Finn,
yes,
who again. This is interesting because people are like, oh, he tries to run away again. What a coward. And it's like, he's not trying to run away. He wakes up from his thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I need to get as far away from here so that when Rey comes back, she doesn't get herself killed.
Yes.
He's not running away. That's like just a misreading of what's in the story, right? Mm-hmm. But he strikes up a friendship with Rose, who we alluded to earlier. Her sister died in the bombing raid, and so this irks me because they find out, oh, they're tracking us through hyperspace. What do we got to do this thing here? We got to find a way to get in. Like, how do they know all this? How do they have the schematics of the dreadnought? You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
That's number one. Number two, they get like Maz Kanata via satellite phone.
Okay, I have to give full credit to Michael Olson, our friend Michael Olson, on this. He said this so perfectly.
Yeah.
He's like, that moment felt like right before you start the level of a video game. Where you have like the character in some sort of crazy, unrealistic scenario. Like, okay, I'm in the middle of a battle over here on the thing that makes no sense why I have a GoPro attached to me following me in this battle. But here's what you've got to do. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what that was.
Right? Because that end, like that, the second that ends, I'm like, why is it just like, oh, contractual obligation with Lupita Nyong'o,
Yes.
so let's just, like, give me a break, right?
Yeah.
150% unnecessary.
Yes.
And
weird. Why was there a camera following her?
Yeah. So that, like, to me, it does a disservice to that character.
Yeah.
Right. But second, she sends, oh, you got to find this guy. You're going to know him from his lapel. It's like, you don't know his name?
Right. Yeah, clearly she's had a romantic relationship with him too, I'm sure.
So weird. Like, it's one of those, like, you can see the mechanics of the plot working there. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, they need, like, just realistically, if she knows who he is and where to find what, she wouldn't know his name?
I know. Yeah.
Right. So and why would why would she know he'll have a rose lapel pin or whatever that is?
Yeah, he might have left it on his dresser that day.
Yeah. So that right off the bat, I'm like, okay, what's that all about?
Well, and that speaks to honestly, like my like I said, my first impression of this movie was a lot of great ideas that felt a little undercooked.
Yes.
I'm fine with the whole Holdo Poe thing. I'm fine even with them finding this guy, but just it felt like the first stab at an idea without figuring out how to make it a little more nuanced and unpredictable. And
well, this is the thing. So off go Finn and Rose to Canto Bight, which is this casino planet.
Yeah,
and that's you're checking the box. Okay, we need like the cantina-esque scene
down to pretty much the same band playing in the background.
Yeah, right. And so I'm like, okay, well, we got to again check the boxes. I did find it interesting that here's kind of a different look at the Star Wars universe, which is like the upper class and the way, like, that's something we've never seen before.
Me too.
That's interesting,
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then the broader conversation about war profiteering and how that's what keeps. I mean, there's a social critique happening there, which I think that's new and that's kind of different. I'm totally fine with that.
Same.
The problem is this Canto Bight sequence it's like a pod race. I mean, it goes on like about 15 minutes longer than it should, you know?
Yeah, and I didn't find the place. I actually, in the build up to the movie, when I heard this thing was going to happen, I was excited to see a new upper class looking world, whatever. And I feel like it didn't really live up to a lot. Like, it just felt like another room that I've seen before, just filled with people dressed more nicely. And when I was talking about this with my coworkers, I remember in Attack of the Clones, when Obi-Wan and Anakin go into that nightclub, and it was like neon and whatever, and I was like, ooh, I've never seen this before.
Right.
And there's something sort of a little more enticing and sexy about it. And like,
but you know, that's a good example, because in that scene, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin, they're acting like Riggs and Murtaugh, you know? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, get away, this is Jedi business. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, it felt very anachronistic.
yeah.
You know, and so that's what this felt like. They're wearing like tuxedos and stuff, and you know, it was weird. Like the way it felt. It was off-putting in the sense that it didn't add up to much.
Yes, I was totally down for it. Yeah. And then it didn't add up to much. And then you later realize that this mission was entirely unnecessary. It was only, I mean, they could have like died just so Poe could learn some lesson later.
Yeah. So they're supposed to meet this code breaker. They never clarify. So they find a guy wearing the thing. Is he the guy? Is he who they're supposed to be looking for?
Yeah.
They don't say really, right? Do they?
Oh no. Oh, it's not clear. I mean, I think the movie wants us to think, yeah, that's the guy. But I remember feeling murky about it.
Yes. But they do end up meeting DJ.
Yeah.
And her sister Stephanie.
Before that, we should go back to the horse racing thing.
Okay.
Because that happens before, right?
Where they're watching the horse race.
Well, they're watching a horse race, and then there's and by the way, I'm gonna actually set this up. I didn't mind this so much. Like, I'm fine with them destroying the casino, and basically they're these like abused animals outside, and they set the abused animals free, and then they break through the casino and whatnot. Again, I like the idea of it. I'm not so sure I was okay with the execution of it. And it also reminded me, because there's a whole moment where Rose stops and goes, oh yeah, all the stable children here, they are abused, and it is unfair, and it should not happen. And then there's like this moment, you know, where they do something and help the kids and free the animals and whatever. And I was like, that was like a total show don't tell sort of thing to me. Like, see a stable boy kick to the ground and then Finn go, no. You know, kind of a thing. So we know the kids are abused and what, like it. That they stopped the movie to explain all that. I was like, oh, like this felt like first draft.
You know what's funny, Brian, is it's almost like the entire Canto Bight sequence is there just to establish those children, just so that you can pay that off, you know, an hour down the line.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and it's one of those things where it's like, what piece of this thread do you pull without the whole thing sort of unraveling?
Yeah.
In terms of story construction.
Yeah. Again, a little undercooked. Not a bad idea. Just to me, it felt a little undercooked.
And the fact that it doesn't really pay off meaningfully means that was the moment when, during my second viewing, I was like, all right, here's like 10 minutes where I can take a quick power nap. And I didn't. It was a good nap. So I did appreciate that.
Seriously?
I did. Well, it was late. I went to like a 9:30 show. I had been teaching all day. I was tired, Brian.
I love that. You're like, I did, and it was a good nap.
But okay, so they wind up in jail, and that's where they meet Benicio del Toro, who was trying to justify being in a Star Wars movie by being like, but let me do something actorly. How about I just like randomly stutter?
Yeah.
So he's playing like a Porky Pig, basically.
Yes.
And that got old really fast.
You think Rian Johnson's smart enough to know that that's going to annoy most people?
Yeah.
Or look very, very... Actually, I wonder if that was Del Toro being like, I got an idea. And him like not being able to say no. Yeah.
That to me is like Nicolas Cage, you know, during Ghost Rider being like, what if I eat jelly beans out of a wine glass? And the director's like, all right, fine. You know?
Right.
So now this guy is set up again. When you look at the movie as trying to subvert your expectations, you're supposed to be like, "Oh, this is like the Han Solo of this movie."
Mm-hmm. Yes, or Lando. I was thinking he would be like,
or Lando. Actually, that's even more appropriate. Yeah, because really Poe is very Han Solo-esque in this film. Mm-hmm. Very Lando-ish. Yeah, and so he's like, I can break the code, and then they take him onto the dreadnought, and he ends up. He's it seems to me he's like, I'm willing to do it, but then he gets caught and he's like, hey, screw you guys, like I'm gonna sell you out. Mm-hmm. Even that is interesting to me. Mm-hmm. Right? And especially when he gets into like, look, man, you got people who are selling to both sides, the First Order and the it's all just money. Mm-hmm. It's like it's very interesting because again, it's like meta commentary to me. He's like, all of this keeps going on because there's people who have money invested in it continuing.
Right.
And I'm like, he might as well be talking about the Walt Disney Corporation.
Yeah.
Right?
It's fun. Yeah.
Right? So I like that's the kind of stuff I really like because to me it's Rian Johnson really, pointing the mirror outward.
Sure.
And be like, why are you expecting this to the audience? Mm-hmm. Like to the audience, he's saying you want this war to keep going,
Yeah.
Like I really respond to stuff like that.
That's yeah.
So we're on the Dreadnought, and we should circle back to the fact that in the middle of all this, Rey has been like force texting with Kylo Ren.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to be the guy to coin that. I have force texting written down.
Oh, okay.
All right, movie film podcast. There we go. We coined it. Like, yo, you up? Force texting back and forth to each other. That's so funny. Of course you said that. I've been so proud that I haven't heard it. I haven't heard that anywhere else, and I was like so excited to drop that.
Well, so this is now. This is a point of critique that people have that they have connected somehow,
which didn't bother me.
Yeah,
it didn't even cross my mind.
It's weird. It's like, oh, why are they talking so much, and why isn't what's the rationale behind it? And to me, I mean, there is a revelation that goes with it. But here's the interesting thing is, and this is what pays off later, is the first time it happens. So here's Rey. She's on Ahch-To, and she sees Kylo Ren, and the implication is they're seeing each other within their own space.
Right.
So he's like seeing her in his room. She's seeing him wherever she is. And he's like, you can't be doing this on your own. The strain would kill you. Mm-hmm. And that is like, oh, that's a little hint that'll pay off later. Mm-hmm. Right? But what's interesting is because of this connection that we find out later that Snoke has sort of done surreptitiously, she's forming this attachment to Kylo Ren that she wouldn't have had otherwise. Mm-hmm. She's calling him Ben, and right because of this, because they're like texting each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And then or like I like the texting better, but like the almost like FaceTiming because he's got no shirt on. She's like, "Could you put on a towel, please?" Yeah.
Right. So she's like, Luke, if you're not going to help, then I'm. She's like, they're still good in him, right? Mm-hmm. But in all of that, this is we get the story of what happened with Luke's Jedi temple.
Yeah, we get like a little Rashomon sort of thing, right?
I was about to say, and that's so cool because this is the literalized version of from a certain point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? Oh, nice. Yeah.
Right. So Rey is like, oh, you tried to kill Luke, and Ben's like, really? Let me tell you what happened. He tried to kill me.
Yeah, I like that. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can trust Luke.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And then we get Luke's perspective, which is, I saw such darkness in him that at that moment, the first thought I had was to kill him. And I turn on my lights and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? And I turn it off. Mm-hmm. Or I had that second thought, but it was too late because Ben wakes up and that splits. And I was like, it's like the entire universe turned on this misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what it made me think of. It made me think of Revenge of the Sith, where remember when Mace Windu is about to kill Palpatine? Mm-hmm. Remember that? And Anakin runs in. And Mace Windu is like, he's got his lightsaber up. And what does Anakin say, right? He's like, it's not the Jedi way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's that split second where Anakin, right? Like if Mace Windu had the presence of mind to be like, you're right. Mm-hmm. Right? He could have saved the galaxy.
Yeah.
Right? And it's these split seconds that end up having these huge, drastic consequences. Mm-hmm. Right? And to me, this idea that both of them were wrong.
Yeah.
Luke was so scared that his first thought was, I got to kill my nephew. This is the same guy who was willing to move heaven and earth to save his father because they're still good in him. Mm-hmm. right? So she leaves. Now, before that, we should mention that Luke has his moment on the Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
With R2 and...
Oh my gosh. I loved all of that.
Yeah, I could see where some people would call that fan service, but I really enjoyed that.
Well, it's one of those things where, yeah, he first of all, we see him walking around the empty Millennium Falcon, and it's like, again, that reunion that we never got.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? But yeah, then R2 is like, I'm assuming R2 is like, you got to come back or whatever, and he shows him the Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi, the DVD of that or whatever.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. I was like, how big is his memory? He's had that in there for a long time.
Yeah, well, he has the Blu-ray set of the original trilogy that he just plays. And that's, I mean, when you think about it, that's kind of the thing that starts moving Luke in that direction. But I think this whole time we have to realize that Luke is cut off from the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like maybe the movie could have clarified that more.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because we see it in he's teaching Rey, and here again, I like how it really subverts expectations, where she's like, oh yeah, it's about moving rocks and stuff, and he's like, this is what the Force is. The Force doesn't belong to the Jedi. I mean, I think what we've seen is that Luke in these decades has learned that the Jedi Order was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why he's at this place,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of its concept of the Force. And, she has her little thing just like Luke did with the tree and whatever, right?
Yeah. Yes, yes. Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, actually. I was really intrigued when she was going toward that little hole thing. I was like, okay, like I'm into this. What is he going to give us with this? Because the thing in Empire is so iconic and profound. Yes. And I actually really enjoyed the whole Hall of Mirrors sort of thing, and it was kind of creepy, and I don't know, they sold the sort of the mystery and the ambiguousness of wherever she was dwelling in that moment.
And she's in this Hall of Mirrors, and she just sees, stretching into the horizon is just her, right?
Yes. And then she basically goes... See, I thought she was going to be like tempted by the dark side, but it actually turns into sort of like a Harry Potter moment where she's looking in the mirror, like, wants to see what she wants to see sort of thing.
Yes.
And so she wants to see her parents, and then it's revealed to just show herself.
Yeah, and I, especially given what we find out later in the movie, I took that as the idea that her story starts with her.
Yes, same.
Right, and that's something you sort of piece together after, in totality. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, how do you compete with The Empire Strikes Back? You don't.
Yes.
You don't even try.
And I feel like The Empire Strikes Back, the revelation of Luke seeing his face in Darth Vader's helmet is a little more profound and a little more clear and impactful. But that's with me with 30 years with that movie. Very so I don't know actually if I feel like that moment was really even worth it. Like,
but during this whole thing where she's sort of making this connection and she's making things float and whatever, what does she tell Luke? She's like, I didn't see you there.
See, this is, I think this is second viewing stuff I'm going to appreciate.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, to me, it's like one of two things happened. Either he willingly cut himself off from the Force, or the trauma of what happened sort of unconsciously cut him off from the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's I mean, think about that. Think about being at this place where you're connected with everything, and then suddenly that's cut off from you, right? What does that do to you?
Yeah.
Of course you retreat. Of course you go inward.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think, so in that sense, it's not like, oh, I could help you, but I'm not going to. It's, I can't help you.
Right.
So Rey goes off and she's like, oh, I'm going to turn Kylo Ren because I've seen Return of the Jedi. How hard could it be?
So did it feel like skipping ahead a little bit? I mean, when Luke leaves in Empire Strikes Back, he's going to save his friends.
Yes.
Like, he has to go in his mind.
Yes.
And then I wasn't convinced that Rey had to leave in that moment necessarily.
Well,
it felt a little like, trying to be analog to the trilogy in a way that I was like, I don't know if we've gotten there yet. The desperation, why she would walk into the lion's den. But
my thinking is she's formed this connection with him where she's feeling like all he needs is the right person to give him the nudge, and then will get him back.
So why not meet him somewhere? Like, why walk into the ship?
Because she's saying that she sees a vision of him turning on Snoke.
Oh, I see.
Right. So, plus she's a dumb kid, just like Luke was.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, maybe the impulsiveness and the urgency of it, I was like, oh, okay, well, she's leaving.
Yeah, off she goes.
Yeah.
So now we are conditioned to be like, oh, okay, here we are, Return of the Jedi territory. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, I almost feel like the entire presence of Snoke was to make us think things are going to go a certain way.
Yes.
Just as a character. Because he's kind of a useless character.
He amounts to nothing.
Right.
Yeah. And then I started realizing who's he even connected with? Like,
right.
Is he some sort of heir, or not even like bloodline, but just to the Emperor? Or like, we never learn what his deal is.
He's just a red herring. He's a 2-movie red herring.
Yeah.
And that's going to piss people off.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it pissed me off. I'm open to seeing if the third movie makes me not question it as much as I did this time. But it sort of struck me as Rian Johnson didn't like Force Awakens. That was sort of like, it didn't feel like satisfying in a way that I figured out later why he didn't amount to anything. And why, I mean, he like he was not only Kylo Ren's boss, so to speak, but also over Hux.
Yes.
And it's just so swept aside without ever, like, so don't worry about him anymore. Okay, we're here now.
Yeah, well, the problem with the character is he's like a low rent Palpatine.
Yeah.
He's saying kind of Palpatine-y stuff.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that's by design. Mm-hmm. And the design being, look, we gotta break out of this.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wait, if you go back to the Let It Die sort of thing, you're right. I mean, he totally mirrors the Emperor's dialogue in Return of the Jedi, even down to that whole scene with Rey looking out a window and seeing her friends in a bed.
Yeah. Oh, look at, not just that. When Kylo is taking her to Palpatine, to Snoke, the staging and the framing mirrors that same shot in the elevator when Luke goes to see Palpatine.
Uh-huh.
Right? So, I mean, it's clearly, like, they're doing this. They know what you are expecting. Mm-hmm. They know it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think to a large extent, we, with, 6 movies and just decades and decades of living in this universe and with this universe, we're like, okay, so this needs to happen and this. And you start saying to yourself, well, then what is this trilogy then? It's just like the Xerox version of the previous trilogy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I guess I don't want that, but I also don't need this movie to comment on the fact that it doesn't need to be the original.
Well, I almost feel like the franchise needs it, because it's to me it's like ripping the Band-Aid off. It's the franchise saying Star Wars can be the universe or it can be the characters. It's not always going to be both. Mm-hmm. And in order for that to happen, you need to expand what we can expect to happen in this universe.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, totally.
Right. So we get the scene where, it's the parallel to Luke and Vader facing off in Return of the Jedi. However, just like Vader did in Return of the Jedi, he kills Snoke. Mm-hmm. It's a great moment.
Mm-hmm. Very surprising.
Snoke was beside himself by the end of it. Beside himself. Because he was cut in half. And the two halves were next to each other. Anyway. I'm very proud of that. I just came up with that.
That was pretty good.
Thank you. So that's that moment where you're like, whoa, maybe he's good now.
Did
maybe
not
he's
see
good
that
now.
coming.
And they're fighting back to back, side to side.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie, this is like one of the most awesomely staged sequences I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You have this stark crimson background. It's the cuts are very minimal. You're just seeing them fighting I mean, it just worked for me. Mm-hmm. so Rey and Kylo, they defeat these Imperial guards, these Praetorian guards, and then what happens?
He's like, all right, come on, let's be evil.
Yeah, right.
I like that. Yeah.
Man, I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah, me too. I like that.
I was like, that's great. There's that moment, right? She was so close, but she failed, right? This is a movie about failure, right? It's about our heroes thinking things are going to go a certain way. Why? Because they've always been that way, right? Just like us.
You and I?
Yeah, we in the audience, we're like, oh, it's going to happen like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we in general, right? Oh, this is what happened before, and this is going to happen now. That's what the characters are like. I'm like the hotshot flyboy, and I'm going to go by my own rules, and everything's going to be fine. No, not so much.
I got to say, Zachy, I'm really liking what you're saying right here. The whole, I really am. And this is what I'm hoping to sort of have come more naturally to me in the second viewing.
Sure.
I like that. Like, this is how this goes. Like, this is how it's happened before. This, and not even as a meta thing, but just for these characters. Like, yeah, this is what happens. Like, I rescue the bad guy, he turns, and I go. And it's like, no, that's not how it goes. And I don't know that was very apparent to me the first time. And what you're saying, I really like on paper. So I'm really hoping to feel this a little bit more the second time.
Yeah. Well, so while all that is happening, we've got Finn and Rose, who are about to be, executed, and here comes Captain Phasma.
Yeah.
Who, to her credit, gets more to do in this one. I still find her character utterly, she just does nothing for me.
Entirely worthless. Like, this is supposed to be a battle that we're like, oh, sit back, here we go. And I'm like,
yeah.
It only reinforced to me what she is not.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's good or bad. I think if she hadn't even been in this movie, then she could have just been a foil for him in the first movie, which makes sense. Like, he defected. She was his boss. They get to kind of square off at the end. He gets the upper hand. Moving on. Yeah. I think they did, whether it was the marketing team.
She's like middle management, and he, Yeah, and she's like Bill Lumbergh from Office Space, basically.
Yeah. And I think she just looks too cool.
Yes.
And we all like Gwendolyn Christie, the actress, and she was so apparent in the marketing and whatnot and toys that it felt like she should be a bigger deal. And I almost feel like her inclusion in this fight here is a response to that. Because otherwise, this fight is kind of worthless. It's. I'm not saying it's not cool, but it's not like they had some. Well, I guess that's not true. They did have some like unresolved things to get to, but it just. Yeah. To me, it just felt like this is total fan service for the people that bought her action figure.
Yes. But I also think it's a vehicle for Finn to really get his like big moments.
Because he needed a big moment, so they had to draw upon the last film to give him a big moment in this one.
Yes. So, I mean, when he's squaring off with her and he's like, bring it, Chrome Dome, I was like, that's cool. Come on.
Actually, I didn't like that.
I was like, I like it.
That's cool. That's cool. I just felt I was outside of the movie when all that was happening. Like, this feels like fan service. Really? Like, I didn't feel like the movie demanded this moment.
Because I felt like I needed something to really crystallize that Finn has he's become the rebel hero that they think he is.
I'm into that for sure. Yeah.
When she's like, you were always scum, he's like, rebel scum. I was like, come on. I don't know. That worked for me.
Yeah. Maybe again, I was too.
I mean, it's on the nose, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I think it would have worked better if it didn't feel like the whole, like, getting to that point required this whole detour through Canto Bight and all that, which I would not necessarily have cut out. I would have trimmed it.
Yeah.
This movie's 2.5 hours long.
Reconceptualized a little bit or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Now we should mention that in all of this, while this is going on, so DJ, the codebreaker guy, basically gave away the game. He's like, what's happening is that while you're like firing on the Resistance fleet, they're cloaking away and they're going to this other planet. Mm-hmm. And so the plan that Poe and Rose and Finn hatched has failed completely in that the Resistance fleet is just getting wiped off out of existence.
Mm-hmm.
directly as a result of their actions.
Yep.
That's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm assuming this is what you were talking about with like stuff with the character that with Poe that didn't sit right with you.
I think yes, because then there's this sort of turn where Leia wakes up and she's like, no, like Laura Dern's my friend and she's known what's going on the whole time. And Laura Dern just like, wink. And then Poe's like, oh, hundreds of people died because of me because yeah, okay. Like, I don't feel he felt any, I mean,
Really?
he may have learned
See,
a lesson. This is going to take a second viewing. But I was like, I don't know that he had a moment where he's like, oh, wow, like a lot of people died because of me.
Well, no, I don't know that I agree with that because I think that pays off later in the film when he's the one who, you know, as they're engaged in this attack, he's the one who's like, we can't do this. It's suicide.
Yes. But a lot of people came before that.
I mean, the way I see it, that moment of the staggering realization of what's happened, that happens after you're out of immediate danger.
This is very true. True.
That's, I mean, because basically the last hour of the movie is like one you know, dire situation to another.
Yeah.
So he hasn't necessarily had that moment. I like the idea of unrest within the ranks because we do sort of think of the resistance or the rebellion as this motley band, and here, you know, here's Princess Leia, she's going to tell us what to do, we're all going to do it, and it's like, well, there would be a sense of like, well, how you know, you look at Admiral Holdo and she's kind of wearing like a gown of some kind, and she's got this gem hairstyle, you know, and if you're Poe Dameron, you're like, she doesn't look like a military commander,
Right.
I'm the guy who's out there on the front lines, right? And this whole notion of heroism, right? Like after the dreadnought is destroyed, he's like, there were a lot of heroes, right? And General Organa's like, dead heroes.
Yes, that I remember that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and so I think here it's that again, that idea of who knows more and what is the better part of how do we define victory? Mm-hmm. Is it all of our people die defeating them, or is we save as many of our people as we can? What is victory?
Yeah, and again, this is first viewing sort of memory, and I really like what you said, where this felt like a TV episode. Like this is the episode where Poe learns a lesson, and that's kind of how it felt executed in my memory, and maybe why I didn't find it as impactful as I imagined for a movie that should be like one of the like top 10 movies of all time, you know, kind of thing, like in a you know what I'm saying, like sitting next to The Empire Strikes Back and da. I don't know, it felt, again, I keep using this word, but undercooked a little bit. Yeah. But I'm okay with what they were trying to convey. Yeah. That's just how it felt to me.
To me, I think insofar as what we get for Poe's arc, to me that paid off in a way that felt substantive to me.
Yeah, I'm hoping it does a little bit more to me this afternoon.
Well, and so I mean, segueing a little bit. So now Kylo Ren is dead, and Hux is like, what happened? He's like, Rey killed her. That's pretty crazy, you know. and so now Kylo Ren is the new supreme leader. Yeah. Right. So this petulant man child has taken control. It's like Donald Trump in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, to me, again, I'm like, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Right? Because Palpatine was a lunatic, but he had a plan. And this guy is he's an id monster.
Yeah. Raw power. Very, very powerful. But yeah, he has no control.
Yeah. So they go to so the the resistance are on Crate.
Wait, we got to back up. Holdo's last stand, or whatever you want to call it.
I forgot about that. That's a great oh shit moment.
That was a great moment. I really enjoyed this, where she takes the ship. Everyone abandons ship, goes to a secret base that was nearby. That was the plan all along, where Laura Dern winks at Poe like, should have listened to me. And then she alone takes the ship and at light speed flies through. Was it the Dreadnought?
Yes.
She flies through the Dreadnought.
It was like Snoke's flagship or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, which looked amazing. It was realized amazingly. The sound design was amazing. That was a very tentpole moment, I would say, for the whole series, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
It's really something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Right. And so here we have the what's left of the Resistance. They go to Crate, which is sort of like Hoth Redux.
Yeah.
You know, at least in appearances. And I love the visual. It's this mineral planet. So whenever you disturb the surface sand, you have this red salt underneath. Mm-hmm. And just it's a very striking visual, but more importantly, it's going to be a visual clue to what happens later, right? Now, in the middle of all this, we should mention that Luke has a little encounter with an old friend.
Yeah.
We kind of skipped over this.
Yeah, Puppet Yoda.
Puppet Yoda makes his decades in coming return, and I got to tell you, this Yoda felt more real than the CGI Yoda we're used to.
Yep. It was jarring to me, honestly, at first. I had to recalibrate, and I was like, no, this is Yoda.
This is the real Yoda.
Yeah. Where his lips don't really, match what he's saying, and I loved it.
I love that he's like giddy and laughing and being like the Yoda from Empire Strikes Back.
Yep, I agree.
Right? Now, what's happening here is so interesting, right? Because Luke is like, okay, that's it. I'm destroying the temple. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. And Ghost Yoda shows up and he's like, okay, do it. And he's like, I'm about to.
Yeah.
And Yoda's like, you know what? I'll do it.
Yeah. Calls down lightning.
Yeah. So a couple things. Number one, we see the power that you have even when you're a Force spirit.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right.
Right. But number two, Luke hasn't internalized this lesson, which is that the Jedi were wrong. Right. Mm-hmm. You know, all the books and everything. What does he say? Oh, they were real page turners, weren't they?
Yoda, yeah.
Right? And so, I mean, this idea of sort of, he needs that last push from his teacher. Mm-hmm. Right? And again, I think that we get that shot earlier in the film where we see the submerged X-Wing fighter. Mm-hmm. I think we're conditioned to be like, okay, this is where Luke lifts the X-Wing out of the swamp.
Yep.
And then he's going to fly into battle again. Like, that's what we're expecting. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's very telling that we never actually see that, but we do see Luke back on Crate. Mm-hmm. Right? So the Resistance, they've had this moment. And it's funny because somebody was like, how many Death Stars are in this? And I'm like, well, less than 1 and more than 0.
Yes.
Because the Empire, or the First Order, has this like Death Star cannon.
Yes.
That they're using to try to break down the door.
Well, it's funny because, they're like, okay, we only got one shot of this. We got to get like a blast down its throat. And I was like, a Death Star by any other name.
I know. That's right.
Yeah. But I like that wasn't the final set piece.
Yes.
So I'm okay with it. But when it was first introduced, I was like, okay.
Yep. Here we go again. Yeah. You kind of look at the camera. Here we go. Yeah. So they've got this big door, this big ass door, mm-hmm. which people are very upset that the ass word is in this movie.
Oh yeah, it didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, they say hell and damn.
Yeah, I kind of like the PG whatever they got going on. I think
I'm like, at this point, the word ass has become PG.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean that's like a separate conversation. Whether you're okay with that,
sure, yeah.
That's just reality,
Yeah.
So you've got the Resistance fighters in these beat up ass ships that make X-Wing fighters look like Naboo starfighters. They're these things are beat up and terrible. Like Finn Poe punches his foot through the plating.
Right.
He's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So they're mounting like a kamikaze attack on these walkers and this Death Star cannon. And here's where Poe is like, you know what, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Forget it. And this is where Finn is like, no, I'm going to be Poe 2.0.
Yep.
And he takes off his little thing and he's like, I'm going to do this. And then Rose basically flings her ship out of the way into Finn's ship so that she saves him and keeps him from committing suicide.
Mm-hmm. There was a split second I thought he was going to do it.
Oh, I was like, oh, okay. I guess goodbye, Finn.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad he lived. Number one.
Me too.
Number two. Now Rose has this line that people either love or hate. I'm going to say I really liked it. And she says, he's like, why did you do this? Right? Because she's like beat up now. And he's like, why didn't you let me do this? And she's like, I saved you. This is how we win. We don't destroy what we hate. We save what we love.
Yeah, I like that line.
I thought it was like, I'm like, that's a line people are going to quote.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
You know? And to me, I think we're jumping over Kelly Marie Tran in this movie. I think she's really good. I really liked her.
I thought she was all right. And I don't think it's her fault. I just don't know that, like, because then I really loved her introduction.
Yes.
You really felt her pain over what her sister sacrificed and how disgusted she was with Finn after sort of admiring him, because she's the person, who works in the machinery and doesn't get to see the action and whatnot. And then along the way, I don't know. She wasn't realized as well as she perhaps could have been to me. And then even like now when we get this sort of kiss between her and Finn.
That I wasn't crazy about.
No, I think, I don't know anyone that felt like that
right.
made sense.
that almost felt like, okay, we need to introduce like a little drama.
Yeah.
For the future,
Yeah.
But I as far as I know, this is like the first Asian lead in any Star Wars, I think.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not true. I mean,
well,
we had Rogue One, but
right.
Asian female.
Yeah, and that's great. It honestly, and let me just take a real quick side thing. This movie actually made The Force Awakens a better movie to me.
Yes.
It made me appreciate The Force Awakens a little bit better. And I even mean, okay, so people don't like how it feels like a carbon copy of A New Hope. Totally understand that. If I could have my way, I would take Starkiller Base out of it.
Yes.
Having said that, it made me really appreciate what J.J. Abrams pulled off in that he introduced Rey, and we love her immediately. We understand her plight. We understand how lonely she is. We are all completely taken with her immediately. Then she meets Finn. They have this sort of weird, possibly, butting head sort of relationship. But then they go through that whole thing with the Millennium Falcon outrunning the TIE fighters, and it's really exhilarating, and he shoots the last one, and all of a sudden they are like bonded for life. Like, he did that. I can't believe he did that. This is so good. Then they get split up. Then at the end of the movie, when they are at Starkiller Base and they get reunited, and she's so surprised to see them, and then Chewbacca roars something. And he's like, "What did he say?" And she's like, "He said that coming here was your idea." And then she just pulls him in. I was like, man, like I even right now I get warm thinking about that, and I'm impressed what Abrams was able to set up and then to pay off with those characters in the first one, and I don't know that I felt that with those characters in this one.
See, I'm of the opposite approach, because I'm like, I definitely agree that it made me appreciate Force Awakens more, and that's not a movie I disliked to begin with. But I liked how, exactly what you said, he was able to do so much of the heavy lifting there that I had no problem jumping right in this one.
See, but I didn't feel anything between Finn and Rose, and I feel like that is not a good thing.
I think the romance is like whatever, but I think that's just because I'm not, 15, like.
Well, even their bond. I mean, like when at the end, when he's sort of tending to her on the Falcon, like I'm saying,
I think
like
he just feels like he's like, well, she kissed me, so I guess I should put a blanket on her.
I just feel like when you think of all that is accomplished in one movie between Finn and Rey and Force Awakens, all that's accomplished with Leia and Han, they're not really romantic in A New Hope. That's all introduced in Empire and completely makes sense by the end. And I didn't feel their whole whatever their thing is. It just, again, poor Finn, I felt was pretty not serviced in this movie.
See, I think Finn got some moments. I do agree that of the big three characters, he got less. But I'm looking at it like, well, Poe, that was Poe in the last one, so
sure,
the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. By the way, before we talk about the end, we skipped right over this. Rey's parents.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say I loved that they went in the direction they did with this, and I hope that this isn't yet another swerve. Which is that who your parents are. They're nobody. Mm-hmm. They don't matter. I think he even says they don't matter in the story. That's what Kylo Ren says.
Yeah.
So the whole, we've spent 2 years being like, oh, is she must be Luke's daughter, or she's like Han and Leia's secret hidden daughter, or she's Obi-Wan's granddaughter, or she's she's Watto's secret slave, or she's she's Jabba the Hutt's sister who's horribly mutated but looks normal by our standards, like whatever, all the hidden theories, right?
Yeah.
And none of it mattered.
Yeah. I like that too, and it feels keeping in theme with what down to the last shot of the movie.
Yes. So I'm totally down with that.
Me too.
And people are upset about that, and to me, that's a symptom of expectations.
I don't know what else. To me, I don't know what else he could have done. Like anything else would have felt expected.
This is the thing, right? Once you have the second movie of a trilogy say, "I am your father."
Yeah, right.
How do you possibly compete with that?
Right.
The answer is you don't.
Right.
You don't even try, right?
And
so here they are.
And I know some people think that Kylo might be lying to her.
So Ryan Johnson gave an interview. He's like, as the way I wrote it, the way my intention, he's telling her the truth.
Oh, that's interesting. And then also I've heard that he and JJ separately, that was their intention for it.
Oh, really?
When they conferred, he said, I was allowed to do whatever I wanted. But when I talked to J.J. Abrams, we had the same idea.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because that, to me, almost felt like another critique. He's like, hey, JJ, here's your mystery box. Suck it.
right.
It's nothing,
Yeah.
So that's interesting. We'll come back to that. But so here's the resistance. Now, Leia is like, send out a signal using my personal code. We need help. Get as many people out there to let them know we're in desperate need. And nobody answers. Right? Mm-hmm. The spark of the resistance has gone out.
Right.
Right. And then in walks the spark.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So here in walks Luke Skywalker. And he's Jedi Master Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's the Luke Skywalker we've been waiting to see.
Mm-hmm.
We get this great moment where he reunites with Leia.
Yeah, that was I really enjoyed seeing that.
I love that you hear the Luke and Leia music.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gives her the dice from the Falcon, and you hear the Han and Leia music. And I love the dialogue, right? Because she's like, he's gone. I know he's gone. Talking about Ben, Kylo. And he gives her dice. He's like, no, nobody's ever gone, right? Mm-hmm. And again, this is meta commentary, right? Because yes, Han Solo is gone, but he'll live on in our memories forever, right? And I, by the way, I'm fairly certain those dice will be like front and center in the Han Solo movie.
Oh yeah, good call. Because they aren't really in the original trilogy,
right? I mean, you see them, but they're just in the they're just decor, right?
Yeah.
And then I love. Luke's like, all right, I'm going to take care of this, or whatever he says, and he leaves, and 3PO's like, Master Luke, and he just kind of winks at him.
Which I heard some people didn't like. I actually like that.
Why didn't they like that?
I don't know. I think it, and I'm not saying they're wrong for their feelings, but I think going along with, I don't even know, like the humor feeling out of place to them. I don't know. I actually thought it kind of made me giggle.
No, I thought
like
it was
in a good
great.
way.
Yeah. No, I thought. I mean, it's just good to see you. I mean.
Yeah.
And so now here it is. Here's what we've been waiting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Badass Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. Right?
He walks out there, and he's like standing with these huge AT-AT walkers or whatever they are now to sell new toys, and and I've said this before in other reviews or whatever. I had a moment where I almost yelled out loud.
Yeah.
Like seeing him out there with his lightsaber in hand, I was like, that's Luke Skywalker. Like he's out there standing off again. I was so thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's visually it's extraordinary. I mean the way Johnson shoots that whole sequence. You have these towering. The gate is the towering thing, and you see Luke just kind of very small in the foreground there. It really drives home the scope. And then again, Kylo Ren, right? He's this id monster. Mm-hmm. Shoot everything at him.
Yep.
Just, to the point where even Hux is like, all right, I think we got him.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's Luke still standing there. And we're watching it. We're like, of course he's still standing there because he's effing Jedi Master Luke.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I also love where Kylo Ren's like, all right, give me my shuttle. And Hux is like, what are you kidding? And he just throws him across the thing. And then the guy in front's like, all right, get in the shuttle.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
So here we have, this is what we've been waiting for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Luke versus Kylo Ren. This is
Jedi Master Luke.
Yeah, this is like Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a badass fight.
Mm-hmm.
But what's so interesting, this is like Fight Club, where all the clues are there if you're really paying attention.
Which I did not. I did not notice this.
That's the beauty of it. Why would you, right?
Right.
Because again, your expectations are what are powering. Like it's like the realization of your imagination,
mm-hmm.
which is literally what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, and I would love to believe that the only reason this planet exists in the script is for this.
Yes.
From Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so they're fighting whatever, and the first clue is he's using his lightsaber from The Empire Strikes Back,
mm-hmm.
which we just saw torn in two pieces.
Right.
But I mean, again, you're not paying attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
The other clue, which I didn't notice until the second viewing, is that as him and Kylo Ren are going at it, Luke doesn't leave any footprints with the red trail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And his hair is shorter and his beard isn't gray.
But you know what's funny? All of that, I was like, oh, well, that's okay. I guess he got a haircut.
I didn't think about it.
I was just like, oh, okay. He just kind of cleaned himself up before he came. I was wondering about the beard. I was like, I guess he colored his beard. Okay. You know? It didn't even occur to me that, so all of this, what is he doing? He's stalling the First Order long enough for the Resistance to make their escape.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Kylo Ren, he says, like, as they're facing off, he's like, the Resistance is finished. This war is over, and after you're gone, after I kill you, the Jedi will be finished.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this great callback to what Luke says earlier. He's like, everything you just said is wrong. Right? The rebellion has been reborn. The war is just starting. And I won't be the last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then that's when we realize that because Kylo tries to strike him down and he just goes right through him. And then at that point we cut back to Ahch-To and there's Luke and we realize he's been projecting himself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did that movie play for you? Because I was like, oh.
I was like, oh. And then I felt massively cheated. I felt like it undercut his badassery. But again, as you restated it now, it made me feel differently. And this is where you see it once. It's a huge decision to have Luke's awesome last stand, and the only time we'll ever see him as wizened Jedi Master kicking ass, the fact that it didn't actually happen, that's something that I had to decide if I felt okay with that or not.
Right.
And I'll be honest, my first instinct was that I was not. I felt like it undercut every awesome thing he just did. But hearing you tell it to me almost like a storyteller, it actually did make me feel slightly different about it. And this is where it comes in. First viewing, it's a lot to decide if this is how I want Luke's only time I ever see him like this and the last time he's ever going to be like this. How do I feel about that? And admittedly, the first time I felt a little like it undercut it a little bit.
See, so this is so now here we go. So while Luke is saying all this, we see Rey having arrived on Crate in the Falcon. She uses the Force to basically create an opening for what's left of the Resistance to escape. Right,
lifting rocks,
exactly. Right,
that was like the Indiana Jones X never marks the spot.
That's right.
Yeah,
and we do. I think we pay off Rey and Finn when they reunite. I think it's a nice moment.
It's a nice hug. Yeah.
So then now we're back on Ahch-To, and here's Luke, who's just exhausted after this effort of projecting himself across the galaxy.
Right.
And the first time I see this, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll come back to him in the next time. And then we see him looking into the distance. I'm like, oh, is he seeing like a ship coming or something? Mm-hmm. And then we see the twin sunset. I'm like, oh, that's cool. and then he disappears. Mm-hmm. And the first time I see it, I'm like processing it. I'm like, what? Wait, what? What did I just see? You know? Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, the second time, I started to cry.
Yep.
It was the second time because, first of all, the way it's framed, it's beautiful. You see the sunset, you see his face, and then we go to the distance and we just see him. He just disappears and his robe just floats away. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I just said goodbye to one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And it hit me in a different way than when I watched Han Solo die.
Yeah.
Because I remember that was shocking and horrible. Mm-hmm. And it was the horror of the way he died, which was compounded, right? Mm-hmm. But it was just the beauty of this moment when Luke, he goes in peace. Mm-hmm. And he goes because what has he done, right? He didn't die a coward, right? He gave his life to do this. Mm-hmm. This thing that he couldn't have done on his own. Remember what he says in the beginning. What do you want me to do? Just show up there with my laser sword and I'll just face off with the whole First Order? That's what he did. Yeah. Right? So in other words, that's what the galaxy needed. And we see that pay off because, you know, we see those same kids from Canto Bight. They're like, oh, Luke Skywalker. Right? In other words, the legend of Luke Skywalker and what he did. Right. Is, again, it's the spark. That's the thing that rebirthed the rebellion.
Yeah, I think when I say the undercut thing too, it's funny, I don't even mind it so much with the fight with Kylo. I think it's maybe with the laser blast. I'd like to believe that he could have done that.
Sure.
And then the fact that all of that aggressive move and his like brushing the dust off, you know, didn't really happen. Like I said,
but see, to me, it's all because he still used the Force. Right?
This is true.
Like I think it's almost like getting caught in the weeds here when we're like, well, I mean, because he did do it. He squared off against Kylo Ren. He just wasn't physically there, but he did it.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I'm hoping I feel a little differently about it today, but with his death too, that was also slightly confusing to me. And I had, on another podcast, heard someone who said they were at the premiere. He's like, you could tell the whole theater was confused.
Sure.
And I'm...
Yeah, I think, again, it's laid earlier where the idea is that the stress of doing something like that would kill you.
Yes, and I think
like
I might have missed that because when he died, I was like, well, why did he die? Did he have a heart attack or something? Yeah. And as you're restating it, and you've seen it 2 times, I'm having a feeling of how it will play out in future viewings. But I think it was, I mean, when you're taking this all in for the first time and you're not expecting Luke to die this way and whatnot, I do think if I am tracking with it a little more and I know what's about to happen, I do think it was captured beautifully, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, we see it just slightly from a distance. Yeah. Where he disappears and his robe just catches a breeze and just floats away. And it's like, that's the end of the legend of Luke Skywalker, you know?
And I really did love, too, when you saw the kids with the AT-AT walkers and then the Luke doll. And like, and
the kids are us.
Yes.
Right? Because the truth is Luke Skywalker's story will never stop being told.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So to me, that moment when Luke fades away, that was when the switch sort of flipped in my head, where I was like, yes, my Star Wars is over. Mm-hmm. And whatever this is, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm either with it or I'm not.
Yep.
But I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I think more than the last one, this is the torch passing movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? And I think partly because of the fact that it's Luke. And I think, Michael Arndt, who, remember, he did like the early drafts for what became The Force Awakens, he was talking about the problem that they were having, which is that part of the reason that Luke is introduced so late in that movie is as soon as they brought him in, the shift, like the story became about him.
Right.
And if you're trying to say, well, it's about a new generation of characters, you can understand why that would be challenging. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, I can understand why they had to take Luke off the chessboard.
Yeah.
Because we can't yeah, he's a Jedi, so he'll be a Force ghost or whatever. But Force ghosts don't have agency in these stories.
Right.
So I'm fairly certain we'll see Mark Hamill back in the next one.
Yeah.
And based on what we saw Yoda do in this one, he'll probably be fairly powerful, but he's not going to save the day.
Right. Like Return of the Jedi, possibly, and a low moment for Rey.
Exactly. So whatever happens next has to be from Rey, from Poe, from Finn.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to see Leia again either, you know?
Yeah, I'm really very curious how they're going to handle that.
Yeah. I'm on the one hand, I feel like, geez, maybe they should have done something in this movie and then maybe left Luke alive or whatever. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, I'm like, well, they told the story they wanted to tell, and they, you know, whatever happens next, they'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting. This has been really an interesting discussion for me because, again, I mean, this is a lot for me to process on initial viewing, and I don't know how I feel. These are the thoughts and questions that have sprung up. But a lot of recanting or blah, blah, blah. You recalling these things to me, I'm feeling differently about them, and I'm hoping with future viewings I won't be so surprised in having to process everything I'm taking. Like, it will be what it is, and I will, you know, I'll go along for the ride that they have set out for me.
Well, and that's why I really feel like this movie demands two viewings, because there's one viewing where you go in, you're like, okay, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so you're measuring what you see against what you are expecting to see.
Yep.
And I think to really appreciate this, you have to unlearn what you've learned.
Yeah.
You know, I really do believe that. I think the mantra of Kylo Ren, which is to let the past die, I think that is entirely applicable to this movie, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
This has been obviously a very polarizing film, although the cinema score is A. So I feel like what we're actually hearing is a very vocal minority of people who are pissed off. But I believe, just as with what happened with The Empire Strikes Back, I think the perception of this film will grow over time, because The Empire Strikes Back was not hugely popular in the same way as A New Hope when it first came out. It's easy to forget that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's thought of as the best one, but I mean, at the time, it was a downer.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
I feel like, and obviously this relies a little bit on what they do next time, but I think The Last Jedi, I think it will be thought of in years to come as one of the best Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's interesting too to round it out here with the ending of the movie being everyone on the ship together and Rey meeting Poe for the first time.
Yeah.
Right? Which is sort of like, oh, I didn't realize. It almost feels like the end of Return of the Jedi, where they're all at that celebration standing by like a fence post. Right?
You know what I love, by the way? He says, "Hi, I'm Poe," and she says, "I'm Rey." And what does Poe say? "I know."
Oh, interesting. I don't remember that.
Like The Empire Strikes Back?
Really?
Like Han Solo? I know.
I did not get that at all. I didn't. That didn't.
I mean, I don't know if. I mean, I think the context is entirely different, but I love that that's what he says.
That's funny. I didn't even. Yeah.
Just a neat little, maybe unintentional callback, but I found it fun.
Yeah. And then, it's also weird then where we don't know what's next.
We don't know.
Like, it almost could be part one again, the next movie, because, I mean, we have Kylo Ren, of course, still as the bad guy. But that's my only another concern, like I've already said, though, is just having two different authors over three movies that don't seem to be working entirely together. Yeah. Like, this does feel like an odd middle chapter ending. So I'm very curious.
Well, you know, what they've said is that episode 9 is going to culminate all 9. Like, it's going to be the wrap up of all 3 trilogies.
See, now that sounds daunting and awesome.
Yes.
I'm looking. See, that I didn't know what to look forward to in the next movie, and I've heard some other like diehard Star Wars fans also. Like, I was dying to know what was going to happen next at the end of 7. I don't know that I am anticipating 9 because I don't know what to anticipate, and that I'm anticipating. Then
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, That's great. Like otherwise you'd be like, okay, so in the next one, they're gonna defeat Snoke somehow, and they're gonna, I mean, it's like we're conditioned to be like, and like, oh, this has to happen, and this has to happen, this has to happen. But they've cleared the chessboard.
Right.
Hey, let's see what happens. Maybe we find out about Snoke. Maybe we don't. Maybe Kylo Ren is redeemed. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I want to find out. And I'll tell you something else.
Well, yeah, and then the very last shot of the movie is the boy, stable boy, and then he force grabs the broom, and holds it like a lightsaber. So you wonder if this is going to be Rey now, if she's the last, at least Jedi who's had any training, having to restart the Jedi. Or
is the Jedi Order, is the whole point to say that there even shouldn't be a Jedi Order, that
Sure.
the Force is from within you, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Right. I'm fairly certain we'll see Luke again. Beyond that, you got me. That's literally the only thing I can say with certainty, other than obviously our three main characters.
That we'll see Force Ghost Luke?
Yes.
Yeah.
That being said, I the one thought I also had when the movie ended is the Last Jedi also drives home the utility of the anthology movies, because the further removed we get as we move further and further into the fictional future of Star Wars, you see why a movie like Rogue One has appeal. Because let's go back to that time. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm even more excited to see the Han Solo movie now.
Yeah, I am too.
Because it's these characters who they can live again, even if they're not part of the present anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and also for fans of this one, we got a whole new trilogy coming from this author. Yeah.
Going to be an entirely different thing. So I don't know, lots to look forward to. When it comes to Star Wars, in general, it's a franchise that I'll always be hopeful for.
Same.
And I think I applaud the ways this one does something different. And I think the mere fact that the movie ended and you, Brian, were like, I want to watch that again. I mean, that ain't nothing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So listeners, like Brian said, I mean, this is sort of a time capsule of Brian in between viewings of The Last Jedi.
Yeah, having to process something completely unexpected, and I appreciate unexpected. I think that's another thing too, where it seems to be this two camps. Like, oh, you complain they're too similar, you complain they're not similar enough. I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I don't mind anything going completely different. To me, it was just I liked some of the pieces that they set up. I just didn't know that they were as smooth as I felt they could have been. But that was, again, initial viewing. And also, I mean, when this is all coming at me at once, that's a lot to process for something that means so much to you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something, just apropos of nothing, but like I'm sitting here recording with you. I'm in my kid's room right now. And I've got my mic propped up on like a transparent plastic bin. And they have like their Star Wars figures in there, and they're all like in their packaging. They keep they're like me when I was a kid. You keep the packaging in the card, and they when they want to play with the figures, they take them out of the card and they put it back. They're like that.
Oh, funny.
But I'm like looking in this bin as I'm talking to you, and here's Han Solo from The Force Awakens, and here's Jyn Erso from Rogue One, and here's X-Wing fighter Luke from A New Hope, and here's Kanan Jarrus from Rebels, and and I'm like, this is what this is. This is what Star Wars is. It's this annuity that's passed from generation to generation.
Yep.
And it's going to be different things to different people.
Yep.
And I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's really what The Last Jedi is telling us.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I'm glad.
Well, I think that's a good place to leave this discussion. What do you think?
Yeah. I've very much been looking forward to this. So I wonder if you're even recognizing a little bit of yourself in me. After,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I needed to let it percolate. But I mean, the truth of it is, I can't wait to watch it again. I'm seeing it again on Saturday. I don't have the context of having seen it with my kids, and that's usually something I'm able to offer on this show. but that, Star Wars is a thing it's passed from generation to generation, and so that we saw that literalized on screen in The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I'll put a pin in this conversation, but we will be back in not too long. I mean, geez, we'll probably get one more regular episode in before the year ends.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Got the
a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a chance to see that yet?
I think today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Looking forward to talking about that. Disaster Artist, of course. A lot of the big fall and winter releases. And we do plan to do one more commentary track before the year is out, so that's still a coming.
Yeah.
But Brian, anything you want to hype up for the audience before we turn the lights out here?
Yeah. Well, I work for a show called Puppy Dog Pals, which airs on Disney and Disney Junior, and it's a really adorable show about puppy dogs that go on adventures around the world. And I think your kids are going to love it, and if you love puppy dogs, I think you'll like it too. So check that out.
There you go. And as for me, you can find me at my website, Zaki'sCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter and my Instagram. Check out my website for my full review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. It is a non-spoiler review, and my God, people need to calm down about spoilers.
Oh, can you, as long as we're here, I saw you do a post about that. What specifically were people having issue with?
Well, I wrote in my review that... the Resistance, I swear to you, I'm not making this up. The Resistance is on the run from the First Order. Meanwhile, Rey is trying to convince Luke to join the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And this person was upset because they're like, well, I didn't know Luke needed to be convinced. So you ruined that for me. I mean,
well, then why is this person reading it? If
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you are triggered by the barest description, then just don't read it.
I avoided everything until I saw it.
I mean, the truth is, we have like massacred the meaning of the word spoiler. Right. A spoiler spoils. It ruins something. So in other words, it's not a spoiler if you say Vader and Luke square off.
Mm-hmm.
It is a spoiler if you say Vader then tells Luke he's his father.
Right.
There it is. Right?
Well, yeah, my only response to that would be I appreciate that person feels the way they feel, but then if they feel that strongly about something so minor, they shouldn't be reading anything.
We have spoiled the word spoiler.
Right.
Certainly for me, I do my very best, and Brian, you've read enough of my reviews at this point to know that I genuinely, doesn't have to be Star Wars, I try not to spoil anything in my reviews. I work hard at that, and Star Wars especially, it's like walking through a minefield, so I don't appreciate when people don't have any damn sense. But you can read that and leave your thoughts, and please leave your thoughts about this episode and what you thought of The Last Jedi. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Love to hear all of it, for sure.
Yes, and man, I'll tell you, I'm loving the conversation. I really am. People hate it. I feel like I'm on the opposite side of like where I was with the BVS conversation.
Sure.
But I don't fault anybody who hated the movie. I get it.
It's a lot to take in and to decide how you feel about.
One thing that all I'm telling people is give it another viewing and see where you're at after that.
Yeah.
And, some people are like, I don't want to watch it again. Hey, that's fine too. You know? I definitely think that there's some people who are like, you're an idiot for liking it. And then there are people who are like, you're an idiot for not liking it. And that's just a lot of, everyone's wrong. Everyone's wrong there.
Yeah.
But please leave a review on iTunes and let us know what you think. Leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com or else hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. I want to thank everybody for the comments about our Phantom Menace commentary. We really appreciate that. We're looking forward to talking through Attack of the Clones, although I have a feeling that's going to be even harder to do than the Phantom Menace. I feel like I need to start training Rocky Balboa for 5 months, Right. An open question whether the Han Solo movie will be out in May. That's what they're saying, but we have not seen frame one of footage from that movie.
I thought there was going to be a teaser before this.
I was thinking about what you and I talked about. So that's fascinating to me because it feels like I wouldn't be shocked if they were like, it's going to be December.
And that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm down either way. I'll tell you this. If it does come out in May, it will be the shortest gap ever between Star Wars movies, one that I don't think we'll ever get again.
Yeah.
You know? But let's bring down the curtain on this episode, and we'll be back shortly. On behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been Movie Film 137. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast.